some other, just the operational stuff, just going over like standard operational stuff, some things to look at. I don't want to give you too much because we definitely want to focus on what you need for the upcoming next couple of weeks. And of course, counts, as you had stated earlier, is a big thing. But some of the things might be like, we didn't really talk about it while we were earlier, but the intercoms. I guess the intercom now, like if somebody's out in the lane, they're having an issue, I guess that intercom is going to go to the master station, which is in the booth?
In the main booth, yeah.
In the main booth. And so it'll go there. So somebody would have the capability, I guess, of raising that gate, you know, if need be. Sometimes they have like the master station maybe in the main office or something. I don't know if at some point you're looking to route it to there. If you did, then there might be times when maybe the person's lost their ticket, so they're calling you an intercom, and they're at a paying lane, you know, an automated lane, and they're looking to get out of the facility. So the software does have the option of, you know, sending a lost ticket to a machine. You can replace a ticket, I guess, at a machine. So I'll go in here and show you. Where's that? Produce. So under the items and groups, lost tickets, cards, a lot of that stuff, you know, the system calls those things items. So a lot of those things will be found under the items and groups. But under items and groups, we have the very first feature that's in there: produce, lost ticket, and or replacement ticket. So when you go into there, you get this nice little window that pops up here. And then you have 3 tabs up here at the top. You got lost ticket, replacement ticket, and manual replacement ticket. So with the lost ticket, since Jack set this up to be a variable, you can choose, like here's the parking deck out of the 2, whichever one that this was pertaining to. In this case, the plaza, and then we have the exit paying lane. And then the price to be paid at the pay station. Right here it has $6, but you can change that to whatever you wanted it to be. And then when you produce, it would go out to that device. I think Jack was testing this earlier, and I think you actually have to have a vehicle there, like the loop has to be activated with a presence. But yeah, and so I guess you would get like a confirmation if it was successful. So in this case, an error, the terminal's not ready because there's nobody activating it, you know, with the loop. So if a vehicle was there and they were calling you an intercom and you were receiving that call, perhaps in the office, and they said they lost their ticket, you could send a lost ticket there. Maybe they were telling you that the machine couldn't read their ticket. Maybe their barcodes messed up. Maybe they spilled Coca-Cola on it, whatever. But if they could read that number off of there, like what we were talking about earlier,
You just print a ticket ID.
you just print a ticket ID.
No, the print, yeah.
Print a ticket ID. Ticket imprint. And you would put the full serial number.
Yeah, so the same number like we put in at the cashier terminal station, it would be the same number. It'd be the whole, like 2-digit, 3-digit, and a 10-digit number. You put the whole thing in there. And then, but this, it won't actually let you put anything in there now because we don't have a car in front of the terminal. But if you did, then it would let you edit that number. And then you hit search, and then it would let you actually send the fee out to the device. When they call and say like the ticket got wet or it won't go in the machine, but they can read the number off of it, they can tell you the number of the intercom, and then you can go in there and put the ticket number in there.
And there it clearly says no car in front of the terminal. So I guess that would probably change as well if there was a vehicle sitting there. But with that, then you could bring up, so if they had been there 3 days, but they couldn't read their ticket, you can put that in there and it will just compute it once it's retrieved from the database. And then the other one is a manual replacement. I'm not sure if you know what the manual is.
So the manual replacement ticket would be just to do like they called you on the intercom and say, I came in this morning at 9 a.m. You can select the day and you can select the day and the time, and then you select that there. Okay, let's see what it says here. And then it would come with a fee, then you can hit produce, and that would send that fee out there. So if you just wanted to If you knew they came in earlier at 9 a.m., then you can just put today at 9 a.m. and then send a fee to the machine.
And that's, we're talking about the one down at Commerce.
Yeah, so that way, they can go ahead and pay what they're supposed to pay.
Unless we decide later to get other credit card fees.
Any questions on the replacement ticket or lost ticket? I guess it's really just about like what you guys had down there with the wind pause, except you're just executing here from.
You know how you said, like sometimes the gate will go up, like after a power surge or something. Can we, then, like, we're not very busy any other time, and somebody comes up to the office and say, your gate's up downstairs, and nobody's coming in to get that gate to go down. Can we go in here and just manually put it down?
Yeah, so.
Okay. To override that power surge.
Open barrier,
Yeah.
sorry.
So when the gate is down, that selection will say open barrier, but when the gate is actually up, it'll change to close. So if you go to the other device up there, it's open. Yeah, see, it says close there. And as long as it's not, the switch isn't in service mode, then it'll go down. If it's in service mode, it just ignores it, because you manually locked it up, the up position.
So I mean, like power goes out and it's stuck up.
Yeah, then
I
you can just
come
hit
in,
close right
go
there.
into there and hit.
Yeah, as long as there's not an issue with the gate or anything, if it's just up, then it'll put it down.
Would it still go down if someone was under it?
Yeah, if it was a pedestrian, yeah.
Yeah, usually what we do is one person will go down there, that's what we have usually, somebody will go down there and look, make sure nobody was coming, and
Oh.
Teresa would
I thought you
put it
meant
back
just
down.
put it down.
And so if you wanted to, if you were, at home and something happened, and you wanted to raise all the gates and just leave them up, and weren't able to make it in, you can go right there, well, where Chris was on the device, and you hit, it would say open, and you hit open barrier, and then you go back to it again, and hit set barrier out of service.
So that's with the scenario, if I get up in the morning and there's 2 inches of ice outside.
Yeah, so you just hit open and then hit barrier out of service, and that'll make the gate go up and stay up. So the gate's locked in the up position. See, there's like a little lock thing you can really see right there.
Yeah, so it's locked out.
Yeah. So no matter how many people pass over the loop or anything, it won't go down.
So that's probably a good idea, if we had to go up there and service it or something to put it in lockout, so that it can't come down on anybody who's.
Yeah. And then also, with the device, if you right click on there, there's also one for a set device out of service. So this will totally block out everybody. So they won't be able to use a monthly card, they won't be able to pull a ticket. In that case, you just want to not allow anybody in the deck for, maintenance or whatever you're doing at the deck. You just do that. You see that big red X on there? It just means, the device is completely locked out. And then to reverse that, you can just right click on it, and then you'll notice they changed to set device in service and set barrier in service now. Just do that. And then you can, and it's actually raise it up and there it goes, so I can probably go put it down. And you see the arm went down there.
And if everything's properly working, if the gate and everything's properly working and the loops are being detected, you'll also get an indicator on here when you actually have vehicle presence. So if there's like a 1 in a little block there, then that would indicate that the V loop, or the vehicle detection loop, is indicating a presence currently there. So if you're putting the gate down and you see that 1 there, you wouldn't want to put it down.
Don't put it down.
I mean, that's only applicable if the
If it's
loops
a
and everything
car.
are working properly, if
Yeah.
the barrier gate doesn't have a malfunction. But if it's not, and you put it up for some reason, and whatever you're gonna go lower it, you know, it'll tell you when that vehicle's there. And I think that it does it too. Does it do it too? Also?
No, just as one.
Just does the one. So it won't tell you, oh, that's the vehicle.
Yeah, that's the arming, yeah.
The
So
arming.
it doesn't tell you the safety arm.
Yeah, so, but the second loop, the end loop is the one that would really be underneath, but I guess if you had a vehicle there that was trying to do something.
It won't let it come down anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just on him and you gotta watch the kids.
Yeah.
Does the system monitor loops? If a loop goes bad, does it send you an alarm?
No, no, I don't believe it does actually. No, because it's just a relay input and output from the gate to the terminal. So there's no, well, which there is like a error output, but I'm not sure that it's connected back to the terminal. So it's not going to give you like a big error or anything like that.
So that's something you just gotta figure out if the loop goes bad.
Yeah, you know, like, cause, after a couple cycles, if it doesn't see well, actually, if it loses either one of the loops, the gate will error out and just stay up. So it won't allow it to function anymore without both of the loops present.
Oh, okay.
While we're also in here, we'll take a look at the reset function. Now, depending upon your permissions on the users that you're given, probably the most you'd ever see would be like a reset 2, maybe a reset 0, which would be like canceling a transaction. But the reset 2, you know, it's a safe kind of a reset to do to the devices, but maybe after you had a cart, like a ticket jam or some kind of an anomaly. I think Jack was telling me, like, if there's a jam ticket, you could actually try to clear it with here, doing a reset 2, it'll kind of activate the mechanism that's in there. And then if it still continues to say jam ticket, then it more than likely wasn't successful and you'd have to go out there and address it. But if ever you're having some kind of an anomaly with the equipment, something's not behaving, you know, this would be something to try, which would be to go to whichever device it is, and just right click it, and then just go to the reset, and then you just go to the reset number 2, which is probably the only option you see with your typical user. The other ones are getting more into like when we have to come out and replace a component, and we have to send all the configuration files down and delete files and things like that, which takes a long time. You know, it might take 5 or 6 minute process. So, but the reset number 2 or the reset 0 would be canceling a transaction. If it was in a transaction and it seemed like you wanted to cancel it out remotely, that'd be the reset 0. But the reset 2 would be one safe. You could do any device, and it'd only take it, I think, probably less than 30 seconds to initiate the reset, and it should be back in operation if it could successfully reset it, if it could clear a jam or whatever. If not, you might have to go out there. Sometimes when you have a ticket jam, does it ever put it out of service and you have to put it back?
Yeah, so if you have a ticket jam and it tries to eject the ticket multiple times, but it fails, it will put the device out of service eventually. So if you go out to the lane and you see, it'll say on the screen, you know, out of service, then you have to first find out why, probably a ticket jam most likely. So once you clear the jam, you can come back in here and you can just hit set device on service, and it'll go ahead and put it back in operation.
And if you notice on the left-hand side, as we were kind of doing some of these actions, we were getting some of those event or the alarm messages come through there. Just to let you know, I think most of these are probably not going to be anything to really worry about. They're more for like if we have to come in and do some diagnostic stuff. But I think you can actually set different things. You might be able to set like every time a ticket's issued or something. Most people just want to see when there's something outside the realm of normal operation.
I know she always had it where it would show every time some, like a card was read, but not actually a ticket. I mean, she could go in there looking how many tickets come in. But it would actually, every time somebody used a card, it would show that card number and what entrance or exit they were at.
Yeah, that would be something convenient. Usually, we set those up like that, and then that way, if you get something like a pass back or something,
we can tell.
you can, well, yeah, and then conveniently, you can a lot of these you can right-click on and take actions on these messages. And if you actually had like a card that did that, you could right-click on it, and maybe you could access that card's information, and you could like resync it or something like that. I think with this one, we tried to set that up. For some reason, it's not cooperating. I don't know that we've actually restarted the server since we did the install, which maybe during our first break, that would be something that we need to do. But if, for whatever reason, it doesn't look like, I know we don't have much activity out there, I guess, but it doesn't look like the cards are coming through. And we'll probably have to give it the signal on that. But it should show them in here, and then you can just right-click and address the specific needs of those cards if you felt like you needed to. One was blacklisted, one was maybe out of sync.
Yeah, they have them where one will come go out upstairs, and then they're gonna try to pass it to somebody downstairs, and then we're looking at the whole screen we can look at. And tell, this person, they keep putting it in,
Yeah.
pass back, pass back, pass back.
And
right,
if it's
it
like
went out.
expired or something like that, it'll tell you why it's denying it. It should be doing that. And especially once you start having a lot of activity, I don't know how much card activity you have now. Are there people coming in?
It will be.
There will be, definitely. Then with some activity, we'll be able to try to diagnose it a little better. We may have to contact Signal support, maybe even get them in the system, but we should be able to get that resolved. How many cards do you think are coming through now?
Right now, I got a sign up, but I don't think nobody's really
Well, the
stopping.
gates are up, so they're not using them.
Yeah. So
They've been up.
that explains why
I
it's
use
a little
mine.
difficult. Yeah. We'll definitely take a look at that. We'll make sure to make a note of that and see if we can resolve that issue.
But I know she does like card reports, and this system will have a list of, once we get everything through market, we go back in and put down the names and the businesses associated with those cards. Where we will run like a card report to tell active cards and
Yeah, there's
with
a
their names.
couple reports in here that are relating to the cards, a couple different areas. Yeah.
So that way, what she does is when she sees that come up there, pass back, sometimes she goes back into the system to look up who it belonged
Yeah.
to, and she gives them a warning.
Mhm.
Yeah.